Hello? Can y'all hear me? 9 a.m. Nico. Yeah, there's I mean we got some feedback that like especially some of the people over in Europe or people that are going to work, they wanted some stuff pre-market. So I don't do too much pre-market charting, I'll actually be honest. But um I mean I figure I can if it helps anyone or just go through some Q&A or whatever, right? Also with some of the overnight gap up, gap down. Sometimes this is a bit more accurate to check in the morning than to, assume everything that happened at night is going to hold, right? Okay, wait, give me 1 second here. Yeah, my phone died and my alarm's all messed up here. Wait, give me a second. What's up, Craig? How are you? Okay, I think we're good. All right, so yeah, let me pull up let me share my screen first. Sorry, y'all. Give me a second here. Let me flip some stuff around on my monitor so I can get this going the right way. Gotta still be paying attention to a couple other chats. Oh, also, wait 1 second. Also, today is John's birthday. So he'll probably, I don't know if he'll be online too much, but regardless, yeah, everyone sent him a message. I think he will be hopping on around like 9:30 or 10. All right. Sorry, I was getting set up. So if I share my screen here, can y'all see now? And I am, some people are not going to like this, but I do have to change a few settings on the screen share side. Is it actually bad quality? That's really annoying if it's bad quality. Let me open up another tab for individual tickers. Oh, never mind. John's birthday's tomorrow. All right, don't tell him happy birthday. Whoops. Yeah, it is tomorrow. I got it wrong. What's up, Nick? Is it actually 240p? Are we for real right now? Hmm. Does anyone have the screen at good quality? Because I shared the window application. If I don't need to, then I'm going to swap it over to the full monitor. So it is good quality? Okay, sweet. S. Davids, yes. So going forward, so this is something we had to agree on as a team, but going forward, community tier is only going to have windows where we're going to screen share. The reason we're doing this is because people pay a lot of money for pro and stuff. So if we're just screen sharing all day, Atlas, Trinity, etc., then it's not justifiable to them, right? So we will show it for small pockets, but we can't screen share full day to community. So yeah, I guess that's one major change. Obviously, we're doing a lot more structured hours, etc. Like that's another change we've made. But there's going to be a few changes we've done, and we're going to see how that goes going forward. We aren't getting index sniper. Yeah, as Davis, I think I just explained that one. No, Falcon's not Prodigy. Falcon is an example of what you can build with Forge, but Forge itself will be released, but it is up to you what you build. So again, I mean, maybe some people are going to have something similar to Falcon based on their rule sets, but other people will probably have it a little bit different, right? I think you said end of summer. Oh, S. Davids, you upgraded. Oh, shoot. S. Davids, can you DM me? Wait, let me see if I can find your. Guys, give me 1 second. It's actually it's good I started this early. We can try to figure out some of these issues now. So I won't be charting too many levels. Sorry, y'all. All right, S. Davids, give me a second here. So you got this. You can get into Atlas and stuff, but not see. Okay, who can and who can't see the screen share? Because we might have the settings a little bit messed up. This is annoying. Okay, I'm gonna have to reiterate that statement a few times. All right, I'll answer the question about the screen share a little bit. For Forge, do we have to code it? Yeah, no, Forge should be like natural language promptable, right? So it's not like you got to go in and know C# or Java or whatever, right? You don't have to script it. Okay, everyone who can't see and is not community, DM me. There's probably some issue we have there. Let me message Glitch. Sorry, give me a second, y'all. I'm trying to send a few messages over to him. S. Davids, can you completely log out and relog in? I think I found the issue on your account. I want to see if that fixes it. If that doesn't fix it, S. Davids, I'll leave it on for today. But yeah, long term, or like I'll flip it back to everybody. But yeah, long term, again, that change will be made. Holy crap, it's a lot of people. Who's Sloopy? Okay, still not working. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna flip settings back, so it'll be same to normal, but that change will take effect at some point in the future. All right, can everyone see? Can everyone see now? So the change is that in the future, we won't be able to screen share full day Atlas and Trinity, etc., to everyone. So we're gonna restrict the screen share. So it'll be audio on, but we're gonna restrict the screen share for most of the day to community tier, just because in the current state, you can, in theory, pay $100 and get full Atlas, full Trinity all day, right? So it is not fair, right, to everyone who has Pro, who's paying, a lot of money they work for. If you can go access the same information for $100 a month. S. Davids, I mean, I already started it. Wait, S. Davids, do you just have the audio only mode turned on? Okay. All right. Now that this is fixed, yeah, we can actually get into like what's going on. But yeah, as a heads up, Glitch will probably send an announcement, but that is a change that will happen soon. All right. Let me see here. So extended hours. All right, let me just chart what's been going on. The futures gapped up last night, right? Gapped up last night. We've pushed a little bit since then. Major level wise, let me see here. Sorry, let me flip like the 1 hour maybe. So we are at this pretty major level on NQ, right? Where, say, roughly here. It's actually a little bit lower probably, but we had double bottom there in the past. We actually came, broke it, third tap, now flipped it to a resistance. This is sort of the third tap here. So I expected each of these taps is getting a little weaker. ES actually flipped that level. So ES right around here, same double bottom. We came and we've actually flipped that level and it looks like it's now being used as support. So we'll have to see how market opens, but there's a chance if we can break above that we get a bit more upside. ES already broke it. If we can get NQ as well to get above, then we can get a bit more upside here. So we'll have to see how market open goes. Apart from that, I go to lower time frame. Yeah, I guess apart from that, just keep this overnight high into account. We're not too far away from it, so that could be somewhere where we end up double topping if we get some confluence on the heat maps. So I think I usually don't track the extended hours on indexes, but I'm trying to see what these levels roughly correlate to. So that would be, we're looking around, sorry, let me push up here. So we gapped up. So around the 696-ish and then 746-ish 0.5. So we'll see what happens there. But again, I don't trade very close to open. So for me, most of my session, even though they're starting at 9, it may just be more like going through some tickers, charting, etc. I'll still call out what I'm seeing, but I never trade before 10 a.m. just as a personal rule. Which everyone should be able to see Atlas screen share now, or just my general screen share. Lon, have I found alerts? No, alerts for 0DTE I haven't found very useful because the situation changes so fast when you're dealing with 0DTE that, especially indexes, like I'd rather just take I can take a look and in 1 minute I'll assess the situation, and that's a lot more helpful than, oh, we hit a king node. Like these king nodes are flipping all over all the time, so there's a small amount of value, but it's just something, in my opinion, you have to be assessing the indexes constantly throughout the day. So throwing an alert is it's tricky to like come and just interpret everything 5 seconds and then see if you actually need to execute or not, right? Because the indexes it's less about just hitting a king node, and it's more about what confluences do you have across 2 out of the 3, etc. Right? That's what makes a really good trade on the indexes, in my opinion, is you have good confluence. So currently, you can't really set an alert for good confluence. It's just for an independent king node, right? So it works for individuals. If we flip to, I don't know, I'm just going to start flipping. I mean, these are going to reshuffle a lot, but like, let's say, I don't know, like, let's say John Deere, right? Oh, if you set an alert, we go tap 620. Okay, maybe there's a chance we bounce there, right? But this is a lot more distinct to the indexes, which are just all over the time, all over the place, like the volume shifting everywhere constantly. So I haven't found a good way to use alerts for those, Lon. Oh, the light mode. Oh, sorry, Garma's here. Wait, let me accept him. Garma, my bad. I didn't see that. Yeah, sorry about the light mode, y'all. But yeah, it gets you woken up. Yeah, it's David. So the one-on-ones are for pro only, but that does not mean that John and I are not accessible. So like, I will still message anybody at any point, any day. So let me still message me, and like in extreme cases, I'll still call people who are initiated in community, right? It's just we have to prioritize the pro members as the company has grown, and it's it is just John, myself, and Jewel, right? So we can only scale so much with 3 people. So the priority will be on pro, but that doesn't mean that we're just like throwing everyone else to the water, right? I will still reply every day I try to every day to anyone who asks me a question. There's an alert to find reverse rug pulls and rug pulls that'll come soon. liquor and leverage. I think with the updated alerts, we're gonna build in. So one like Forge will be able to do it, obviously, but I think also will be a way to basically set alerts based on a node combo, if that makes sense. So rug pull or reverse rug pull being those node combos. All right. Yeah, I don't know what else to do. So if there's no questions, I'll just look through individual tickers. Kami, you can hear me?
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, I think is John doing his separate? I don't know if John is gonna join mine. I think John is doing his session separate today. I believe. What is the benefit of initiate over community? So with initiate, you get community, you just have Discord access to heat maps. With initiate, it's more index minded. You get full Trinity, so you can look at SPX, SPY, QQQ. You can also look at IWM, VIX, and DIA. So it's all index focused. It's only tabular heat maps, so no Atlas, and that's the big difference between initiate and community. So obviously, like Trinity is the big thing, but alongside Trinity comes included like Velocity. Velocity doesn't exist on Discord technically, and then and you can also look at more extended maps, right? So like if you go to SPX on Initiate, like you're able to look at. Most people don't do this, right? But you can look at further out expirations, etc. And also a higher strike range because the Discord maps only show. I don't know what the limit is, but they show a limited amount. Okay, so that's the difference there from Initiate to Community. Okay. Yeah, so John and probably Jewel will hop on, I think later though, maybe towards 11. So like we're trying to do more split streams. So like John at some point will probably do a very futures focused one, right? Probably with Garma, right? That's his wheelhouse. So we're trying to make it so everyone can find a stage that will match the questions they have or their style of trading. All right. Dark Knight Rises. Dark Knight Rises. So is this a good start to reading the maps? Find spot price, find the king node. Scan up, scan down. Where are the first sort of ceilings and floors? Cross-check Vex. Yeah, you only have to cross-check Vex if you're doing more long-term. If you're doing very short-term stuff, you don't even need to. I don't know what violence panel means. Was that a typo? I hope. These nuts. I mean, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, based on current map, if 7415 is claimed, yeah, we can get a push. There's a huge air pocket, but I doubt we're going to see a $60 air pocket on SPX and see no ceiling on Spire QQQ. It's possible, but we'll see. But yeah, as of it right now, these nuts, yeah. But reading index maps pre-market does not have much value because they reshuffle a crazy amount. Garma snitched on me? What did I do? It would be helpful if there's one stream for looking through heat maps and tickers and the other one that was strictly. Yeah, Cyan Prince. So the two ways to split streams that we came up with was having one where it's like more advanced. So not call outs, but like just live analysis, like what Jewel and Jack have been doing in the past, right? And then probably what I've been shifting more towards, which is like more beginner friendly, like answering full questions, etc. So we decided to do that over individuals versus indexes because a lot of people trade both, right? So I think the biggest difference or like separation between and like what we got in the feedback was not actually splitting indexes versus individuals because either way, Jewel and Jack and they tackle both, right? So the biggest separation we saw in feedback at least was more like advanced versus beginner. So that's what we're doing for now. But in the future, if we need to split also by topic, we will. Oh yeah. Glitch got it wrong first though. That's actually what I thought it was John's first. Glitch had messaged the whole group chat. Do I recommend focusing on either individual tickers or indexes? Yeah, I would just stick to one. If you have the time to do indexes, I think indexes are safer. They're a little harder to learn, obviously, because you have to like be able to build confluence, but they're a little safer, right? Because individual tickers, you can have an A plus map and still get cooked if there's just a sell off or a huge pump day, right? Indexes, if you can read the indexes, there's nothing really that can mess you up unless it's like, I don't know, Trump says something, right? So there's less that can go against you. It also the day cuts off at 4 p.m. So like to me, it's also you get a bit of a mental peace. Now, if you don't have the time, if you work, etc., then yeah, you individuals is just what you do. But it is a good idea to focus on one, right? Because it's less information to take in. You get a bit more specialized in whichever one you pick. And so at least starting out, it is good idea to, try both, see which one makes more sense. But whenever you get an idea of which one you do better in or which one clicks more, focus a bit more on that side, master it, and then you can always learn the other one in the future, right? In terms of waiting for open to read maps, figuring out when is best for yourself, press to enter. Yep, Virgin. So like the trading day is long, right? And like we have some general guidelines, like first 30 minutes are more volatile, lunchtime is more dampened, power hour again is maybe a little bit more crazy. Um, so the key is like you don't have to master all the times, especially when you're starting, right? Like even myself, I still don't trade near 9:30 open. But the key is just look at all your data and recognize, okay, when are times of day you do well? When do you feel that you can spot setups easier? And focus on that, right? Like there's no point to be trading in a period of time that historically you do bad on, right? Like there's no point trading on hard mode, right? If you don't like 9:30 to 10 a.m. So if you need to skip lunch, if you need to skip opening 30 minutes, whatever, do so. You should be trading in the periods that you're most comfortable in. And that's going to it should give you the highest win rate, the best trades. So why not bias your money towards those pockets of time? And this is actually even by day, right? I'll just share. I don't think Virgin cares, but like, so I met with him and he told me like, look, Fridays I trade worse, right? And it's like he's still going to try to figure out why, but even without knowing why, if you know you do worse on a certain day, a certain time, just don't trade it, right? So there's a lot of improvement that's basically free that people don't take because they're not willing to say like, look, either I'll downsize or I won't trade whatever day, whatever time, and like I'll study and figure out if I can improve in that period. But there's no point risking, full size positions if you know historically you do worse during them. So, yeah, good point that Virgin made there. All right, market's about to open, so I'll just we'll see what happens as it opens, and then we can. I don't have seconds. So wait, give me a second. I don't have seconds on my clock. What time is it? I think it's like a minute and a half until it opens. Oh, give me 1 second. Some guy is having access issues. I need to. Yeah, let me go fix one guy's access. Again, we're gonna give this a few minutes to settle anyway, so I'm not really gonna bother calling out what's going on in the first 5 minutes. Just because if you are newer, I don't recommend trading that either. Or I don't recommend trading it, so there's not too much point in it. All right, let's see. So yeah, we gapped up. Well, so actually, whoever talked about like that we had that air pocket and SPX, like that's already done. So 7475 potential ceiling at this point. Looks like SPY is going to repeat the pattern it had last week of just huge positive stacks, at least at the moment. And even QQQ, we have the 692, but also 694, 695. So there's still a lot of positive volume across the board. Which with that, seeing that it being a Monday, I hope it's not the case, but I'm already there's a slight chance we're going to be seeing a bit more choppiness like we had on a few days last week. 3 or 5 minute candles, that's about the same AKP. There's not really a big difference there. All right. So again, I mean, we'll see what happens here, but looks like SPX is actually at bottom of range. We just haven't claimed this 7475 as a floor. So you'd want to see that happen if you want to get a further push up. Same with 692, right? 692, 74, 75 are kind of restricting upside. So yes, most volume is pointing up, but those levels are kind of gatekeeping a further push. And actually, like we rejected off of those. You'd have to be pretty lightning fast on any executions to actually catch that, but and then on downside, let's see, 689. It's looking like potential level we can look at. Actually, there's pretty big divergence. Like SPY SPX have gapped up stronger. QQQ kind of actually like triple topped up here, actually. Then let me check. Let me check futures real quick. Wait a second. Okay, so yeah, we also see futures as we start pushing towards even this open, like the 6 p.m. open. Sometimes there's an influential level. So we'll see what happens there. That'll roughly align with 689, I believe. So again, like as a general note, near market open, you also guide yourself a lot more off futures levels because they're going to be closer to where price actually is, right? Especially on a gap up like this. A lot of the older SPY QQQ levels, they're not going to be, it's not going to be as many in where we're dealing with. Oh, Apple. Okay, let me open another tab. Oh, this is not this. I mean, Apple's still going. I mean, Apple there's not much to do until we come and retest. I know 335 is the floor here. I'd probably actually say you want to look for this. Like chart-wise, you're probably looking for 334. So again, use the nodes on the map to give you like a general ballpark, but a lot of times the chart can help you pinpoint a bit more. So it'd be nice if you came double bottomed around 335 and got a further push. All right, so NQ swept out this 6 p.m. low. Let's see if we react here. Kind of also the 689. So for me, this is not an A+ setup, right? Actually, this is probably like B or C, right? Because main floor here is just 689 on QQQ. Maybe a B setup. 744 as well as like sort of the bottom of the range on SPY. So you're counting on those two to hold together. But main issue here is like you're longing into a ton of positive volume on SPY, right? The 745. And even SPX, you're longing into this 7475. It looks like we did get a good reaction here actually on this 6 p.m. sweep on NQ. Can two green gatekeepers on top of a yellow? Yeah, so guys, it is not Pika cloud or Barney cloud. It is positive cloud or negative cloud, right? So if it's a positive node, whether it's green or yellow, it's positive. So always remember, like the thing that goes first is the sign. Whether it's yellow, purple, blue, like that's just a color representation based on data, right? But if you watch the video on my YouTube about the colors, they can mislead you at times, whatever. So you should always be looking at, is it a positive or is it a negative? That's what's going to tell you how we're going to expect it to move. Okay, so actually this NQ sweep played out a lot stronger than I thought. This is almost 100 points already if you on future side. So yeah, 689 stepped in. That was, again, this is not a huge positive node, but this is a node that grew to be about half the size of the king node. So you have to be paying attention not only to your largest nodes, but also to nodes that are a quarter, a third, half the king node. Those can be influential. And also, well, 744 as well, and SPY was also helping there. Does one of the indexes being barren change my thinking? No, I still take it into account. So I mean, SPX is barren here, but we still have levels, right? So the fact that there's just a bit more air pockets, that to me is fine. I mean, it's normal. It'll happen at times. I mean, you have to use the data you have. So yeah, sometimes if it's that empty, maybe it's not as helpful. But it's still, you always have to keep everything in mind, because sometimes what looks like it's may not play out, or it's too extreme or not helpful in the morning, maybe by the afternoon, it ends up being influential. Okay, so now I kind of wish I would have taken this. All right, there's 100 points on NQ. NVIDIA. NVIDIA downside pull. Yeah, NVIDIA's at a pretty weird spot. It's been kind of range bound between this like 210, 205 for quite a while. Yeah, if we hold 207 as ceiling, you can look for a downside. The only thing here that I don't like is we do have like a reverse rug pull on 207. So like if it does get a bullish run and like flips that level, it can continue higher. But we do have an air pocket at 205. So if your logic is, all right, we hold 207, we're going to play push down through the air pocket, you probably want to trim at 205 anyways due to this chart level, but I can see your argument there. AMD around king node. Yeah, AMD looks like it's holding 520 here. Double bottom. So actually, the entry on AMD would have had to have been Friday, right? Like we fully tapped 520 Friday. So maybe we revisit it today, but this like 520, 518-ish level. But so yeah, we're near that level. You can try it. We don't have a very clean run up, right? Like AMD, at least right now. Oh, but this is 0DT. I forgot AMD is also 0DT. But we don't have a huge amount of upside, right? Like in theory, this may be only a $5 push before 25 gets in the way. It's actually looking kind of weak along with NVIDIA. Interesting. Yeah, AMD, the risk reward's not there too much, I would say. And it looks like this is now, depending how you look at this, but the skew could consider this a third tap, right? And we've sort of just shattered that 518 chart level. All right. So let me see indexes. Looks like they're trying to flip the 745. Sorry, 74, 75. I don't know if they're really succeeding. 692 rejected again, or rejected on QQQ. Let's see. I mean, we just give a bit more time to settle. So there's an okay trade if you're doing off 689. Actually, I'd be curious. Maybe John caught that. I know John is actually, he likes trading near the open. But other than that, we have to see if we can really claim this level SPX. There's a good air pocket here. But again, air pocket on SPX is counteracted by the fact that we just have pure positive volume on SPY, right? So don't let like an air pocket on one index override what you're thinking for all of them. But yeah, we see if we keep going down, we see again if 689 can hold, sort of see if we double bottom here. But SPX looks a lot more bullish than I expect is realistic. Just with how big we gapped up, I'm a little more hesitant to go for any more bullish plays, unless they're like smaller scalps. Okay. All right, yeah, so I'll just let this continue on a little bit more. Guess we can go look through some individual tickers. So I think, oh, this is really annoying. Okay, so a couple times on stream last week, I had called SoFi. I played SoFi, I think this first bounce here, which even on weeklies was like 70%. I wanted to play for this Friday. So actually, let me go over that real quick. I'll do a recap on this probably. So if you go to SoFi last week on the 23rd, yeah, like here. So you have a huge node down here at 16.5, right? But SoFi has earnings this week. You see this huge 20 node. So I had been wanting to swing into this week and I just didn't get filled. Because of the earnings run up, because we have this 20 node. So again, I'm not targeting 20, but I'm playing a bounce off 16.5, probably targeting like 17.5, 18, with the possibility if this 20 node does light up and maybe if earnings gaps up as well, you leave a runner for that. So SoFi just gapped up hard over the weekend, right? So this is already full dollar pump. So yeah, it's pretty sad that did not get filled. Yeah, gap up days. It's not that you want to automatically become bearish. It's just that you have to recognize we just had a huge push up. If you're now, 60-point gap up on SPX, can we just expect it to now push another 30 points? Sure, sometimes we do kind of gap and go, but a lot of times we'll retrace into that move a lot. So it's not that I'm bearish, it's just that I know that we've already had a big push upwards, so any upwards play has to be smaller max upside in mind, right? So it'll be more of scalps if I'm looking for upside. Whereas for downside, in theory, there's a bit more space to push into. But again, now this doesn't mean I think, oh, we gap up and now we're going to gap fill. I also think gap fills lead a lot of people to chasing a certain level that doesn't always come around. So, you have the bias there from the gap up, slight bias, but then of course, like the maps are going to help you confirm whether that happens or not. All right, so here, let's say SPX we're holding there. SPY a lot. So what was previously more of a 4-node stack, it looks like more of the volume is concentrating just on 745 now. And the 689 is not holding like it did the first time. So let's see lower. If 7450 grows more, potentially that's something we can look at. We do actually have this level here on QQQ and also this high on SPY, at least for now, but they don't align well with any nodes, I'll be honest. 744 is sort of like our only defense here from a further move down. So, I mean, we'll see if we hold this chart level here. Just to me, there's not a huge amount of confluence, so. And we're still within, we're still before 10 a.m. I'll probably just size it a bit lighter or just skip. Yeah, blind horse to NVIDIA. I think it ended up holding, right? Yeah. You have to see, as we start pushing into 202, 200, and a lot of these dark pool levels, you have to see if those catch a support on NVIDIA. All right. Since 745 broke, yeah, if we do manage to retest and like double top, kind of, yeah, you can look for shorts. 745 aligns well with 740, 74, 75. $335 as resistance on Apple. I think that was the double bottom. Which just sort of looks like a bottom. Yeah, Apple, we can have the support resistance flip. Like 334.3 is the level, but yeah, 335 is the node. And then it looks like we do have solid VEX upwards into Wednesday. This is where we do have VEX downside into Friday, which is a bit odd. Like you would have wanted it to be more continuous. But if this is more of a day trade, then yeah, Friday VEX probably doesn't matter too much for you for that case. Yeah, I wonder if ES actually reacts here. It looks like it is, the support resistance from Friday's high. If Tesla rejects 315, can we see 305? Yes, we can. Like there's not too much volume in the way. But again, if we're rejecting here, again, I'm going to say the same thing always, right? It's not that we think of it as we must go to 305. We just think of it as, okay, we're going to get if we get a reversal here, we trim and leave runners with our ultimate target would be 305, right? 306 could bounce price on this double bottom though. So it might reject 305 a little early. That's the only thing I'll say there. But yeah, we do have a bit of an air pocket here. But once you get to this 305, 307 stack, then you'd be looking at potential bounce. All right, SPY, we do have air gap here, 743. So next level down is going to be 742. So 742, we have this wick. Let's see if there's a bit more confluence here. So we have this wick from Friday as well. If we can get 686 to step in, I think that this level may have more confluence than this bounce at 744, which was very tiny reaction. But again, like I said, there's not much going for that 744 bounce, just the chart level and not much confluence on the heat maps. So if we do flush a bit lower, be looking at 742, 686-ish. And even the 74.45 on here on SPX, that's aligning with this chart level on SPY. So that's the same high that I just pointed out. I don't want to draw the same line twice on SPX SPY. It's the same chart. Well, support, this previous day high may still hold here. Can I look at Microsoft? Oh, I mean, Microsoft, if you long this, you're longing straight into a rug pull. So, no, I'd be thinking the opposite. If we can come up, tap maybe 392. Oh, we kind of already did this morning. But if we kind of come up, tap 392, 395, it's potentially a rug pull off of that, especially after 392. If we go hit 395, we may have pushed too far into the positive notes there. No, I wouldn't say long for a small move. I mean, so for me, like when I see this, I just say, okay, I'm gonna wait. If we go hit 392, 393, I'll short it. Let's say 392. But I don't long, just because if I hit 392, I'm gonna short doesn't mean I think we're gonna go there, right? It's just it's an if then statement, right? But I don't know. I don't trade Microsoft too much. I don't like it that much, I'll be honest. Okay, so we actually are reacting here. SPY SPX. Give me a second here to check. Yeah, let me go check the Discord real quick. Okay. All right, there's not. Yeah, let me go see. Jules sent a few ideas out in the channels. Sometimes I like to check what he has there and then also talk about them on here. CAFS levels. It doesn't actually look like a full gap fill is that probable. All right. Any questions in the meantime? Looks like we may come back up, retest some of these ceilings. That's sort of what we're doing right now. kind of annoyed about SoFi. It's really annoying. What else do we have? Rocket Lab will move nice a lot of the time. So yeah, Rocket Lab had a nice reaction of 64 from Friday. What else? CoreWeave I usually like to look at. All right, this CoreWeave map is useless right now. No, that's too bad. Datadog. Oh my goodness. Right, so a few of these they've been moving already. Snowflake, this is too messy. You can look at Iran short 745. Yeah, either short off these like SPX double stack, but then also the SPY double stack. I mean, if we push all the way to 745, issue 689 may step in as a floor again. But you do have like two indexes with ceilings, so you can scalp it down. If we don't clear 689, you can just short off of all these stacks, basically. Yeah, you do have some decent air pockets under, I'll be honest. It's just that. All right. All right. Oh, Iran. Sorry, I didn't see this. All right, so Iran. Oh, I mean, Iran. If we make it down to 34, we like gap fill. That's basically what you want to look for. In terms of like a strong play. At the current levels, I guess you could play this 37 maybe as a gatekeeper. But yeah, for me, you just wait for 34. That's going to be the more. Or if you think they flip 37, you want to short it, I guess you can do that as well. But we're kind of in middle of range. So for me, I'll probably just wait for 34. If we get to 34, then you can play nice upside off of that. All right, so it looks like we're reacting off these ceilings. SPX never fully tapped, but we're getting a small reaction here. There's still a lot of upside volume, especially on QQQ. The 692 node is interesting. So if you're playing downside, you need 689 to gatekeep, right? This is not able to hold as ceiling, then it wants to reject higher to a 745, then 689 may flip to a floor and sort of throw that thesis out the window. Adobe. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say this for most things that have already moved, right? Adobe's already pushed, what, from Thursday to now, $25. There's not much to do here anymore, right? Like, I guess you could look for a retest of 230 or 225, but otherwise this has already gapped and gone, right? So there's not much for us to do about this. Oh, if you're already in it, then yeah, I mean, just be trimming along the way. Let me see the VEX targets. It looks like Adobe just has tiny volume at like every $5. So this heat map's not helping much, I'll be honest. So the chart wise, you probably want to look for 236. There's this wick here from July 20, or this big 240 from July 17. It's probably going to be levels where we can potentially reject. But yeah, like I said, on the maps, they're not showing much volume there. So this is more of a chart, upcoming chart ceiling that you want to account for. Oracle off 125. Yeah, 123 might look better, but yeah, 125 has a level as well. Yeah, I don't mind that. That was previous support over here. See if we go tap it. Play a bit more downside. Only thing to watch out for there, you want to see 133 not grow too much. If this thing starts like blowing up in volume, then this becomes more middle of the range. But right now, yeah, 125 does look like top of the range. All right, I mean, this short of 689, 744 is playing out here. Again, we have a bit of an air pocket. So 743 has grown, actually. They slipped this in. So just be careful there with like the reverse rug pull. But we have air pocket 687. So it's like best targets would be 742, 686. Those would be targets if you're in downside. And if you're not in downside, that's where you start looking and saying, okay, we could potentially get a bounce upwards at those levels. Hot Rod Todd, can I repeat what I said about 689? Oh, yeah. All I had been saying earlier is that since 689 has not been cleared cleanly, this can actually work as a ceiling in confluence with the double stack on SPY and the double stack on SPX. So we never fully tapped the SPX one. We got to within like $3-4. But SPY was tapping into these two positives, 744, 745, and then QQQs had 689, right? So you have all those that you can short off of. All I had said was the earlier clean play was 745, but by the time we push to 745, 689 will be flipped to a floor, right? So confluence-wise, it was actually a bit better if we look for a rejection there off the 744, 689, because then we get better alignment. Hopefully that makes sense, Todd. Okay, Palantir. I don't know why it's not showing data. Okay, it is. It has a lot of positive gamma. How would I look at this? I just wouldn't. Like when we have, it's not that it's all positive gamma, it's that it's all jumbled, right? There's no air pocket, there's no clean run that it can have. So top of the range is 132 or maybe 130, and then bottom is 120 or 126. So when you're in a case like this where it's just a jumble of volume, you do nothing until you reach one extreme or the other. So those maps to me, like they're very quick to read. You look at them and you're like, all right, it's just not worth my time. NBIS. What the heck is this map? I mean, you can, but this is barely a level. Like this is 1/10. This is less than 1/10 of 170. So NBIS literally just has a 170 node, and that's it. This is a pretty weird map to assess. Because you don't want to chase 170 as like a target, but you have nothing to short off of. So like you can short if you want to go towards 170. Just I would keep it small size because this is not a very significant ceiling. Google thoughts. Is 335 messing up downside? Oh, this Friday one? Possibly. I mean, like we have a bit of rug pull here, 330, 327, which is playing out slowly. But definitely Google's stronger than the market because this is a very small pullback. All right, on indexes, we're hitting the 742, 686, 744, 5. So let's see if these play out as potential supports. Chart-wise, we may even go down all the way to 685 here on QQQ. There's a potential we can get a hold here. So yeah, we'll see on Google. I don't like this reverse rug pull for a huge move. Like the fact that it's been so strong relative to indexes and the fact that indexes are looking like they could bottom out soon. Yeah, and what you said, JMV, from like we have upside Friday on Google. I wouldn't be expecting anything major. But again, I mean, this also depends on, looks like indexes are smoking these levels right now. We have to see if they actually hold these or not. Because the 7,445, okay, let me see if these fail. What are we looking at next? So 686 is still within realm of holding. This could just be an undershoot. We have this double positive on SPY. Let's see if we do hold. They removed 7,450. I don't think 7,450 was ever a level. It was 7,445, right? Ionq. Okay, so we are reacting here. All right, so decent trades on 744 downwards, and then I don't know if this one will hold, but we're at least getting a bit of a reaction here. Let's just see how this develops. I mean, how to play Ionq, again, you know, we just gapped up $4. You just can't play this. It's like a chase at this point, and there's no ceilings to short off of. So yeah, Ionq, I'll just leave it alone. So if anyone's been listening to me like long time, like I will, as soon as I see a big candle like this, like moves gone already, right? There's just nothing to do there. All right, so this reaction is very short lived. Now flushing through it. Let's see. All right, if we lose 686, what could be next? Yeah, what could be next is the 7425, 7430 reverse rug pull. 7430. Trying to see chart wise what this aligns with. This aligns with sort of this low here from like 1 p.m. on Friday. Maybe QQQ even wants to come sweep out previous day low. Interesting. Let me check out what's going on futures. All right, so yeah, any short off the 744, 689 like this mega paid. I only took it on futures, but I did not think the move would actually be this big. So I trimmed out too early. Sadly. Yeah, let's see. It is possible this is just undershoot of 74.45. These levels are still showing some signs on SPY and SPX, so let's see if we can hold there. But yeah, otherwise, looking like we're getting big roll down. QQQ is definitely weaker. So I think Jewel has sent this out. SMH looks weak. I think even when we looked at NVIDIA, AMD earlier, right? Both of those were looking really weak as well. So AMD, why is my chart doing that? So AMD is coming down to this level here though, at 501, 500. So AMD might be worth a try as long as we hold 502, right? So the risk here is if 500 keeps going, we then rug pull through. If we hold it, then it's possible, but it's looking really weak. Let me put this back here. Is NVIDIA looking that weak? Yeah, NVIDIA is going for its negative cluster down here. So we see if that can act as support. But yeah, so that's why NQ is a lot weaker than what we're seeing over on ES. Yeah, so it looks like chips are dragging stuff down. See NVIDIA. There's also some dark pulls down here at 200. Big psych level 2. So I wonder if NVIDIA taps there, it might be good. Can look upside. All right, still giving some signs that we're going to hold this. Blind horse. Yeah, I mean, don't FOMO. Just looking back at it, there's always going to be separate moves to catch. But yeah, read on I think the 210 was what was making me a little nervous. But yeah, your 207 level held really nice. SPY keeps rejecting 742. What time frame are you on, Collusion? Yeah, it looks like 742 is potentially flipping to a ceiling here. I usually give it a few more candles before I like fully say it. So like for me, I usually like to see bigger break and retests, but yeah, there's potential 742 ceiling. We can small push here, push downwards. And also so it was previously 742, 741 were a lot closer in volume earlier. Definitely 742 is taking over a lot more. 741 is a bit weaker, so will help out a little bit less than earlier. But yeah, SPY clear roll down of volume, right? Like when we say rolling the ceilings down, this is exactly what we mean on SPY right now. But we have to see. I mean, SPX is near a low. QQQ is really showing no support. This is one of the big issues, though. That this map is not in confluence at all. But we have to see. This 741, 742 is at least slowed down the move down, right? So there's potential. This is just a big undershoot. Yeah, Qs has nothing going on. All right, so NVIDIA is getting a bit of a reaction here. We're getting some lower wicks forming here. Let's just see if this holds or not. Yeah, I tried getting filled on NVIDIA and it did not. I did not get filled. Oh well. I'm just gonna go cancel that. All right. SPY got filled $2 below. Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely got a reaction here. Yeah, but if you're on SPY, you definitely need 742 has to reclaim, right? So if we're gonna look for anything bullish. What do I give the growing 7470? It's not growing for me. Still down. What? I don't know what time frame you're looking at here on. Maybe I'm just checking the wrong time frame. No, I mean if there's any growth, it's quite small. But the fact that even if it's staying neutral, actually, while price is dropping, is actually usually bullish, right? All right, they've given it a go here, a couple candles. Let's see if we actually do get like a full move back. But yeah, issue with if we reclaim 742, all good. If this has rolled down, it's just not ceiling now. We're gonna reject off it, then it's upside's looking pretty grim. But for now, at least 7445, 742 looks like there's an attempt going to hold. Let's see, I guess NVIDIA, AMD bounced too. All right, so again, off this level here that on AMD, it's like big liquidity sweep and now bouncing. It's actually like 500 on the dot. It's kind of annoying. This thing is really annoying. NVIDIA did not. It failed. Oh well. All right, we see. Looks like yeah, this is wavering between support or resistance at 742. Google rug setup. Yeah, I think someone had mentioned this a little bit ago. The thing about Google is like with indexes as weak as they've been and Google's still pushing, I don't trust this rug pull too much. And also this big upside node that someone in here mentioned, JNV. JNV, you're the one in bakery, right? I swear I recognize the picture. But yeah, he made a good point, right? We have a lot of upside volume on Friday. Yeah, no problem, KG. So I mean, I don't know, it's possible, but indexes have already retraced a bit. We're gonna eventually we're gonna start coming into some supports here. So like 7425 is still here. And let's see, QQQ can finally start to put some volume that will actually matter if we can grow between 681 to 683, if we can get some volume growing there. All right, KG took Tesla, nice. All right, let's see what else we got here. NQ, if you look at Friday's low, well, just slash QQQ, we're also getting close to that. So we got some overreaction here on the sort of on the gap fill, but let's see if this QQQ higher time frame double bottom was going to give us anything. And this SPX reverse rug pull, right? That'd be the other thing that you're looking at here. Thank you misses this low from Friday. That's, yeah, we were like 20 points off. Well, let's see if we go hit that. No way. So again, on the reverse rug pull on SPX, right? There's always the more aggressive entry on the negative node, the safe entry on 7425, which is I think what Crow said he's waiting for. You can sort of enter on the midpoint as well. The confluence right now is you also have the 681 to 683 positive node stack on QQQ. That's the main confluence you have here for 7425. And also fib. I guess if you go to, like if we hop to futures, I think on ES will be at a good fib. Wait, let me draw this. Yeah, so ES are at 0.618, 0.707 roughly. NQE basically double bottom. So like again, there's pretty big divergence. I'm actually really annoyed we didn't sweep this low on NQ. That's what I was looking forward to. That for me would have been a big sign to go long, to help out with the reverse rug pull and this stack on EQ. So let's see if we get that. But yeah, shorts off 744. I didn't hold, but that's 200 points right now on NQ if you shorted the earlier play. When I think of Meta also kind of strong even with market selling off. You're right though, we do have this level here. It's 210. Sorry, 609. So you can play that kind of rejection into a rug pull on Meta. It is curious how strong Meta and Google are relative to market. Does Meta have earnings or something? Why does this have so much? Oh, it does on Wednesday. Meta has a ton of upside volume into Friday. Well, it has a couple actually down here, but this is a lot of, with Meta earnings, this is a bit funky. Honestly, sometimes with earnings run-ups, you can take the trade no matter what, and it's like just due to IV expansion, you'll still make money. But yeah, same kind of thing as Google, right? Where there's ceiling for now and then just big upside into Friday. Wow, okay, this reverse rug will never hit 7425. Cannot believe we did not sweep NQ low of day. Meta has no Wednesday strikes because of earnings. So way earlier, Crow, the short I did take on futures was off 744 and off 689. This 742, I didn't take it because I thought we might have reclaimed it and actually gotten a bounce. But yeah, 742 flip would have also been another viable play, which would have been, I guess, 742 flipped along with 686. That one I'm less inclined to take as well, just because to me the good entry was 744, and then this is more of a continuation play. But yeah, that one was viable trade as well. And this reverse rug pull is holding. I wanted to play this with the NQ sweep of Friday lows, which did not happen sadly though. So if we V-shape here, I'd be pretty mad. But that's how it goes. It's the usual. All right. Yeah, when I say sweep, yeah. It's a tap of the level. Yeah, sorry, I know terminologies are not always familiar to everyone. So like the way I think of it is like, I don't know, say you started trading like 2 days ago, right? If you have some urge to go long or you're just like, oh, we've gone down a lot, I think we're gonna go up. What are you gonna do? You're gonna take an entry here, you're gonna take calls, and you're gonna put stop loss down here at the lows, right? So from the retail side, there's just like a lot of times coming and sweeping those levels is gonna stop out a lot of people. But also for anyone who's a bit um who has a better idea what's gonna be happening is we're gonna have a ton of resting orders to get in here, right? So there's gonna be a ton of people either that they know they'll get stopped out or that they'll get picked up at this level. So that's usually with these big like swing highs, swing lows, previous day highs, overnight highs, stuff like that. That's why we always say like, oh, we're gonna go sweep these levels. Like that's the whole concept of liquidity, right? Is that there's a ton of resting orders, and so we can go pick up some of these orders, right? Whether it's a win or loss for whoever took them, there's gonna be a ton of resting orders down here. And that's also why the more times we tap a level, the weaker it gets, right? So say you have, just to make up a number, 1,000 orders. Obviously, it's way more. If we the first time we go hit it, I don't know, maybe 500 get picked up. That means the next time we go there, there's less orders waiting, right? Because some of them got filled the first time. So that's why with each successive tap of a level, it's going to get weaker and weaker. If we manage to get back to 742, is it the third tap? No, this is the first tap, a second tap. Like when we have back-to-back candles, that's not two taps to me. That's just one tap. All right, SPX is pushing a lot at down here, 738, 7400. Interesting. But with QQQ is pushing in a lot of volume. So again, this stack that I mentioned earlier, this is definitely growing. We have still not swept these lows. I'd be really pissed off if we don't do that. Well, I'd be pissed off if we don't do that and then we reverse huge. If we just keep flushing, then it's all good. All right. When should we invalidate a rug setup? No, KG. So the formation of a node above does not invalidate the rug setup if the levels of the rug pull are still holding, right? For me, what invalidates it is usually if we just breach the positive node above. That's usually we start looking at it and saying, okay, it's just run out of fuel, let's say. Crow, so there's two ways to do it. It depends if you're on options or if you're on futures. If you're on options, you just size for zero. And you don't have to set it exactly at Friday lows. You can set your entry like a little bit under, just because usually when they hit it, like they'll sweep it, right? They don't just tap it and go. They'll usually hunt a little bit under. On futures, you can't do the same because sometimes the stop loss hunts are very extreme. So what you have to end up doing is there's two ways. You can either play with a very wide stop loss, so in that case, you're mimicking size for zero, or what you can do is you can use stop orders, right? So when price hits a level, instead of entering as soon as you get tapped and going long, what you do is you wait for price to go under your level, and then you set a stop buy. So then what happens is as price goes up, you get filled. So look up stop orders versus limit orders, and that's the distinction. So a lot of times it's riskier to do the limit buy because we don't know how strong that wick under is going to be. All right, let's see if this 7425 and this QQQ stack can hold. That'll be thesis here. And I think we finally swept? I think we finally did sweep Friday lows. Finally. You don't have huge upside though. You have 742 would sort of be your target. Well, trim on the way, but 742 would be really big obstacle on the upside. And then let me see what you have calls. Yeah, I'm trying to do better about like paying attention to at least a few orders or like contract prices so I can more or less guesstimate what the percent gain is if it is going. Just because I've been tracking a lot of these in like absolute value, but not in the actual like options prices. So let me go pull up an options chain. All right, yeah, I think we swept out NQ finally, so let's see what happens. 742.5. Yeah, so the growth below is a little concerning, right? So like this is more of a gatekeeper now versus just low of range. So that's the only thing you have to recognize with this play right now. But we'll see. All right. All right. Futures wise, it's reacted a little bit, but very little. Definitely want to see. But again, it's 742 is limiting like any massive move. But it looks like we may not even hold these levels. Oh man, they're really flushing it. IWM 692. Wait, what? 292? I assume you mean 292. What are your dark pool settings? Oh, I see it now. 292. Yeah, it's a bit of an earlier entry here. I guess safest is you're looking for this reverse rug pull all the way at the bottom on IWM. But yeah, we do have, if this positive node grows a little bit more, yeah, you can definitely, why do I not have velocity on this? Wait, give me a second. Oh, it's 1 hour. Oh, whatever. Yeah, right now this 292 is a bit soft. It's at 15K. So, but if we see it grow a good bit, then you can consider with the dark pool. It's like right under the threshold. So again, like my threshold is 25% of King node. Well, King node's actually Friday, but 25% of this column's node, today's volume. So we have to see there if we can get some growth. Man, they're really flushing this thing. Holy shit. Short off. Yeah, that earlier short's up 300 point. I should have just held that. Oh, well. NVIDIA. Yeah, NVIDIA's now down here at King node. Yeah, we have a pretty good from the past. Again, like 200 is just a psych level, so that's probably going to matter for almost any ticker, but really strong resistance in the past, and it's bounced price once. This is a huge stop loss hunt, but bounce price there. Then let's see if it bounces price here. What does the VEX look like? VEX looks fairly healthy going into Friday. It's like 207. So QQQ actually was previously a 3 stack, has now flipped into just, there's a bit of a rug pull here, 681, right? So again, with these rug pulls, when you approach them from opposite side, from the non-negative side, if we don't hold the 681, they can flush through. If we hold 681, they can bounce, but again, the risk there is if we don't, that we're going to get that bigger push down. It's a huge sell-off. All right, let's see. Yeah, this money price is getting slammed down. Let me see those. We do a bit of a level here on SPY. We're just not. Oh, 738 stepping in now. 739. 739 a little bit. But it looks like maybe even SPY's gonna gap fill as well. This shit just keeps sinking. Oh, and the other big thing on Nvidia, right, is we are dealing with a negative node, so always chance of like an undershoot, right? If you are considering taking an entry on that one. So Nvidia. Right. Right, they continue taking lower and I close the gap. Yeah, so it looks like NQ, we reacted a little bit early to the sweep, but yeah, the double bottom from Friday lows did not give anything. So it's possible if they want to take SPY back down to this dark pool, I wonder. But yeah, they're flushing all levels here. Yeah, so this rug pull again. By now this rug pull on QQQ is for sure about to play out, or to watch out for. Yeah, what a sell off! This is what 700. It's almost 600 points if you look at free market 9 a.m. to now. Holy. Yeah, really regretting. Short sell 689 would be insane by now. Mm. All right, Nvidia's at 200. Let me check SMH. Start getting a few. Oh, SMH still showing big downside into Friday. This is double bottom down here, like 535. But Nvidia, and then what is AMD at? Yeah, AMD just shattered this. So you got like a single candle reaction upwards, but then now, yeah, that level's been broken as well. 30 min. Oh, like the initial balance that Garma does? Yeah, that would have been. Where's 30 minutes? 10. So that would have been this candle. Yeah, breaker new test. All right, let's see. Yeah, this ES low from Friday is close. Why is 679 showing up? Oh yeah, I guess that is within B25. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And then SPY, we have this double positive, so we'll see if that helps out, but it's a huge sell-off. 1015. Where's 1015? Oh, yeah. True version. So for the thing, yeah, there's not great confluence on this double positive though. On SPY, that's the only thing I don't like too much. 'Cause, yeah, obviously you're long in straight into like this rug pull on QQQ. QQQ's tanked volume down. SPX kind of just in the middle. It's just like in a range here. So you see. Okay, so no, I'll be honest, like this has been tricky morning, with just like how strong the sell-off is. Like most of the levels have either not had much confluence or like some of the levels that I usually look at to reverse, like NQ, this one bounced a little early, it came fully swept and then just like flushed straight through it. So like I'll admit, um Tony, like there's a small short I took. I didn't think the move would be that good. And then I flipped trying to catch a couple longs and yeah, they haven't played out, but hasn't been hasn't been the easiest unless you were in. If I would have taken this initial short larger size and just had runners, then this would be a great day, right? But that's just the case certain times. Yeah, so yeah, this rug pull again, like I thought indexes might bottom out, so I was actually ignoring a few of the rug pulls on Meta, and the other one was Google. I think they both actually played out. So yeah, again, yeah, apologies on my side, but I had been anticipating a bit more resistance on indexes. So how do we interpret 738 SPY King node now? Sealing down. Yeah, 730. I mean, like individually, you're looking at this still as a floor, right? 738 combined with 737. Yeah, if we keep flushing through though, then yeah, this can flip to ceiling as these other levels have done. But for now, I'm still looking at this as floor. The issue is this is counteracted by a big rug pull on QQQ. So yeah, the next level with confluence, at least at the moment, is 738.5 SPX along with 677, 678 on QQQ. That's sort of next levels I'm seeing with confluence. But 738 could hold. Actually, it looks like it's now I don't want to say anything because the past couple I was saying it looks like we had a good reaction. They just ended up flushing through after. But yeah, we'll see. We didn't sweep out the low of day from Friday, but it looks like 738 is putting this could give some trouble. 738, 737. KG, if you played meta reversal, then you're in a really good spot. Yeah, so if you're, I don't know, maybe Meta, maybe Google, if any of y'all played a few of those, definitely be trimming out. So like Meta, we're now potentially coming down to 600, right? And at some point, these indexes got to bottom out, man. I don't know. Yeah, the earlier one didn't slow down. It didn't really bottom. But Meta and Google, let me see on the downside. Google, you kind of have this double top. So if this resistance flips to support, this one can maybe slow the move down. We also just have very little volume below, but Meta definitely want to be trimming and then maybe leave runners down to 600. That's maybe would probably be the plan there. But yeah, you're down what, $7 from highs on Meta. All right. Dark pool level on what? Oh, on SPY version? And this dark pool level's been like it held all day Friday, but it has been tested quite a few times because of Friday. So that's the only thing there. Wait, let me go to futures. Yeah, so futures has like the craziest divergence ever, right? Where ES has not swept a lot of these levels, and Q has just like cooked all of them. So yeah, again, this ES level has been tested quite a few times. That's the big risk here. But we'll see now that we're sweeping, see if we and let's see if that same one from Friday. How many days? I don't actually know. I think right now it's 30 or 45. I switch mine on a lot. I don't actually have like a good logic as to why or why not I have it on a certain amount. Just because dark pool is right now I think it's okay. Let me just check before I say something wrong. Oh, I have it on 180. But again, I don't. My background in dark pool is not very like I only started using them once they added it to Atlas. So I don't know if 180, 45, 90. I actually don't know what is like the best, quote unquote, best dark pool setting. Let's say. All right, let's see if we. Okay, it looks like we are getting a reaction. They also, I had missed this, but they slipped in the 677 rug pull, reverse rug pull actually. So that is now giving some confidence to 738, 737. But let's see if that reacts at all. All right. So yeah, it looks like Dark Pool's reacting yet again. Let's see if they sustain this move. I mean, this has been a big downside push. Yeah, it's a good point, Virgin. Like the larger ones should hold some more influence. Should I look at 738 as a ceiling? Yeah, when you do have these like double positive stacks, I look at them together like this is just one big positive node. But you're like sometimes you do come tap the lower one and you don't manage to get back above the upper one. So like I usually will still trim. Like let's say you took it off 737. Well, we didn't tap, like very close. I'm not in a trade to be clear, but like, let's say you probably still could trim a 738 because that could be just the next ceiling rolling down, right? So even though I'm counting on the whole zone to hold, like, or that would be the, potentially what you're going for. It's a very wide zone, right? So you can still trim as you clear the top, right? Like from this wick up to here, you probably already got your trim if you, depending on entry, right? So you would want to be trimming there. And actually, yeah, straight to your point, who's this Canon? At least for now, 738 is giving you trouble on a further move up. All right, let's see. At this point, we just gotta start looking at semis. Yeah, if NVIDIA can't, if this is not an undershoot and NVIDIA gets a bounce, then this market looking weak. Super weak. Yes, 677 tailed off as well. This was a little bit stronger earlier, so now we're finally getting to the 675/7385 on SPX. So you have that bit of a confluence. But at this point, if that doesn't hold, man, this is market's over. This is a huge sell-off. So let's see at SPX level. Dark pool gave a small bounce, and now let's see more on the node side. But yeah, now issue is we hit 675, 7385. Again, SPY has just kept rolling ceilings down, right? So you're now longing into these double positive stack. And I have not liked today too much. These trend days usually cook me. Yeah, we got close to this SPX floor. We bounce. So we may bounce what, like $3 above? Didn't go full tap there, sadly. All right. $670 growing now. This thing just came out of nowhere. 675. Let me see. 734. What are we down right now? Almost $10. Well, tech side QQQ is already more than $10. So I guess an early entry on 73.85 would have worked here. Did not work for me. I did not get filled. Low ball too hard. So I was hoping for full tap and closer to 675 QQQ. But it's okay. It will happen. Either way, I'm not too heavy. Well, I mean, I missed the fill, but I was never too heavy size just because this double stack on SPYs just give me a bit of pause of like, this doesn't look like it has huge upside potential. But a scalp there would have worked if you're quick with it. Or who knows? Maybe it will reclaim this double positive on SPY and just give us a huge push. So like, so let me go try to find my order just so I can give you all a sense of how I'm lowballing. So I think at the time we had been around like 73.90 or a little bit under 73.88 maybe. I had opened up, I was looking at SPY. SPY, I think the contract was at like 80 cents for 740 calls. So since I wanted entry more towards the node itself, right? I think I put in order like 70 cents or 72, something like that. Wait, let me go look. 73. I kind of just pulled that number out of nowhere. So again, it's what you're trying to do there is as the wick hits, right, you get filled there. So your order's sort of like just resting there. Obviously, we didn't wick down far enough, so I didn't get filled. I don't even know if I would have gotten filled. I probably would have if we hit all the way down to 73.85. But that's how I'm doing the whole like entry. That's how I'm actually just, I guess, doing the whole entry method, if that makes sense. Because I know a lot of people have asked, like, how do you actually enter, right? Low ball is a very vague term. But so what I do is as we approach these levels, right, I'm looking at what the price is, and then I knock in a little discount. So since these were positive nodes, I lowballed not that much, right, from 80 to 73 cents. If this would have been a negative node and we can undershoot, I probably would have been going for like 65 cents, right, even lower. So it looks like same thing happened to, oh, Chrome is by even less than me. So I think, wait, let me go looking up. Give me a second, y'all. Let me go open up Robinhood. I think I missed Phil by like a couple bucks, which, again, I mean, it sucks. It's part of the game, though, right? All right, my phone is being really slow. So 740. Okay, 740 low was 77 cents, right? So I missed by $4. So again, sometimes you'll miss. Like I looked at it when it was at 80, and I said, all right, I think we can still get, another 10% cheaper. We only went down a few more cents from there, and then that's fine, right? That'll happen. But then by now, the move's already happened. Even if we revisit that level, you have to cancel and you kind of have to do the same process again because theta decay will change the contract. So even if we revisit this same low, instead of being at 80, maybe the contracts are now going to be at 75, right? Just due to theta. So it's not like you cannot set it once and then double bottom, just leave the order. You have to then come in and reset a new order. Otherwise, it'll still be it'll be off. All right, but hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, on futures, so like I know Robinhood Legend, you can actually set the like entries based on the chart, which is similar to futures. So that can help actually. A lot of people prefer that. But if you're just going straight off your brokerage, then you do have to do this kind of, how do I say this? Like kind of like a mental gymnastics, right? For when you're trying to like sort out these entry prices. Crow, can you do that on Webull off your phone? I thought it was only on desktop. Oh. Okay, I need to be doing that. All right, then use Webull as well, y'all. Robinhood Legend or Webull. It looks like I'm a bit behind on how I'm using my brokerages. I'll need to configure that. Thanks, Crow. That helps. Yeah, if you can. Well, damn. All right, so this ended up being like the best move, the best bounce so far. But again, so this SPX and QQQ was mostly the confluence. Or sorry, SPX was SPY, right, on this double positive. And then QQQ had a little bit, like the 675, we were still a bit far away. So again, the early bounce, I miss Phil at least. But this one, compared to most of the other ones, had the cleanest confluence. There are a couple other moments that I thought might give some reaction that ended up being just very muted. But yeah, ended up being just same thing as Friday in terms of levels we bounced off of, which kind of sucks I missed, but oh well. But hopefully the thought process is making sense, or at least like the way I'm I guess building that thesis right across the board. Do we aim? No, I don't really have, like, with this reaction alone, you're probably already up, let's say 30, 40, 50%. You're already trimming. What would you aim for after? Let me see. So yeah, stretch targets would be like 681, maybe 7425. But like it happened earlier, even the 738 can roadblock. So if this overshoots, you still want to be trimming here probably. Like this would be your first trim because of 738 and also because you're probably up 30, 40%. Like if low of day was 77 cents on those 740s and it's at 110 right now, there's your first trim right there. Even if you got in a little early, it's actually now looking back, even if I would have gotten in market order at 0.8, it's 37% right there. So you'd be trimming. Do I know if Falcon caught it? I don't know. I don't know how to turn on Falcon. Like I go to this thingy and then they have like the agents, Falcon, but I don't know where the bubbles are. They don't show up for me. So I don't know. I think I have mine set up wrong or something. I don't know how to use this. So yeah, sorry. I don't know how to use the whole Falcon whatever stuff. But regard, like it's if it did or it didn't. I mean the initial dump off 744, not high of day, but off 744. I don't know if anyone caught it, but I had mentioned it shorting there, right? So I had caught the entry, I just hadn't held it this long, sadly. Check Glitch's Twitter. No, I mean it's y'all can check. It's not much access or not much in it for me. After triple positive. Okay. Oh, so Falcon might have caught it like the very, very early one. It's wild. Yeesh. Yeah, again, Falcon caught it or not, if I would have shown, still the learning has to be there, right? So I think Glitch has been very adamant on this lately, right? Is if not that he releases Falcon, but if he releases Forge, so in theory, everyone has the same structure that he used to build Falcon. You still need to configure it, right, and prompt it correctly, etc., to get those results. So I think like I'll be clear that you still have to have the underlying fundamentals down pat in order for you to develop something of that caliber, right? Or even half the caliber, right? If you have half a Falcon, it's still going to be very good, very strong. But hopefully, what I'm saying makes sense there. I don't know. I don't. I can't remember. He sent something yesterday. I can't remember if the API or if the like whole agent thingy is going to be released first. I think the API would be easier to release, but I'm not a developer. I could actually just be straight up wrong about all of this. So again, like I have a technical background, just not in programming. So I only know so much based on what I see the developers talk about. Okay, thanks, Virgin. For your first question, Virgin, I have no idea. I would assume yes. Like I think Glitch had mentioned he has like over 100 different like not rules, but like hard rules, but like that his Falcon thing is like many different things he put into it, not just Heatseeker stuff. So I think it can get quite complex with different principles or whatever. Virgin, for your question. What's bootcamp? So Wait 1 second. Yeah, we are hitting the 681. Yeah, the 681, bit of a rug pull, but you have the huge double positive under on SPY. And also, we've tanked so much throughout the day. Yeah, this is really sad, these longs. I missed these longs. I think Crow too was about to catch them. Oh well. So yeah, let's see if we get a reaction here, but yeah, don't like to short into then a positive stack like this, right? Especially after we had what? 692. What, $16 down day on QQQ? Then usually that's already quite a bit of red, right? Okay. Whoops. There's a question here I missed. What is bootcamp? Bootcamp is just it's like a 3-day intensive course, let's say. So it's typically for people who are newer to trading. Like Glitch will go over a lot of like how he charts, like what's his strategy in general. So that's the main intent, is like if you don't have a general structured like strategy or system that you use while trading, then bootcamp can sort of help you build that. Or even if you have a system but it's just not reversals, or it's like very different, then a lot of people find it useful because it's, you know, a lot of times when they switch over to heat seeker, it's not similar to a way they've traded in the past. So it's, yeah, that's all bootcamp is. It's a 3-day thing. It's in person. Some people are in person, some are online. So we're having it next week, first week of August. But I think he's gonna try to do it like twice a year, is my current prediction. You know, however often we run it is more up to him. Like it's very taxing, right, to go up 3 days in a row and just talk all day. So we'll have to see as the community grows. Does he feel like he can still do it twice a year? Maybe he'll shift to 1 a year. I'm not too sure, I'll be honest. But there's a lot of people. So bootcamp will help, yes. But a lot of the info from past bootcamps does eventually start trickling down. So whether it's, you know, me in a one-on-one, whether it's John, you know, giving one of his sessions, when we do some of these group live streams, like, you know, John and I we were both in like his first bootcamp that was all virtual. And then there's been many, you know, there's been one bootcamp since, there's not going to be a second one. So a lot of the information, if you pay attention to some of the live streams, some of the other stuff, a lot of that stuff trickles down. So I always tell people, like, you know, if time permits, make sure you're trying to tune into as many of these sessions as you can, because there's a lot of valuable info, right? So I would say Glitch is a very good presenter, actually. I don't think people realize like how difficult that is to do. So I do think like the delivery, I don't know if John and I match how clear and concise his delivery is, but a lot of the info that we've learned does come down to y'all through live streams and through all of this. Yeah, Crow, like I don't think people recognize that is a very hard thing to do, right? Like I consider myself, I'm able to teach quite well, but I'm not able to be as concise as Glitch is. Like Glitch has a very strong presentation skills. I don't know if it's something like he worked on, or it's just, I don't know, he's always been like this, but that is a skill that most people don't understand until you have to try to explain something yourself. Like I ramble a lot more than Glitch, right? But he has a very like quick and concise way of doing stuff that it's super impressive. Yeah, it's an additional cost, as David's. And I mean, if you go in person, that will also cost like for flights and hotel, whatever. But there is also like a virtual. I know a few people do virtual because some users are like in Asia, right, or Europe, right? That's why he's the boss. I mean, he's also the boss because he has the technical background too. I think also he has. I mean, to even create the tool, right? You need to have a strong understanding of the market. Also, just spend a lot of time. I can't imagine how much time he spent iterating through all these loops just just to make the tool work in the first place, right? So there's also a technical aspect that, obviously he has like a CS background and all of that. So there's a lot put together that you need to have to be similar to Glitch, right? Okay, so looks like the 681 is trying to hold. It overshot pretty steep. There's potential we hold here. It's actually lining up somewhat with the 7425. I would have liked 682. Like 682 would be really good confluence with 7425. They are very misaligned, so I probably wouldn't be shorting this. Also, after such a big move down, right? Like eventually you have to get some kind of relief. Yeah, so Craig was in the February boot camp. He was funny. He would mess with like his little Zoom thing, so it would be like show up as an eagle or something. But so of course, like virtual, there is some interactiveness to it, but it cannot replicate in person, right? Like I think also a big chunk of the boot camp, like honestly, a couple of the people I went to the first boot camp, those people trade extremely well. But they were looking more for like the social side, right? Of like, okay, we chat with each other every day. There's also a point of like, you put a face to a name, that has a lot of value as well. Yeah, Craig had us all laughing. All right, so again, it looks like this rug pull's having a hard time, at least at the moment. It's just there's not great confluence across anywhere else. It might hold though. I mean, it's still just undershooting or overshooting at the moment. We do have a ton of upside VEX. Now, this is the first time I checked VEX all day, so I don't know if they've rolled a lot of this down, but if they keep a lot of this VEX lingering, then that could show us that, like, okay, macro-wise, we make it still. I mean, there's still 5 hours left in the day, right? We may still keep getting dragged up. If we acquire SPX King node, I don't know what it was at the time you sent the message, Crow. Was it 7385? Yeah, if we come down double bottom, that would be like a huge. I mean, to me, that'd be pretty quality play if these levels stick around. I don't know if we're gonna drop down $45 though. So another thing, when you get these more macro moves, if you look at NQ, we actually got, and you would have suffered a bit of drawdown, but 28K held as more macro side. So 28,000 on NQ is also a little bit of confluence on where we ended up bouncing. Let's see. So NVIDIA reacted a bit. But yeah, they rolled a lot of volume down. So 197 popped up. Was probably previously double negative on 202 and 200 is now 197 and 200. So NVIDIA, yeah, I mean, chips in general, they're weak. Which sucks. All right. SPX. Wait, what? Oh, I didn't even see these nodes. That probably has to do with the earnings. What is the Wednesday earnings that's coming out? There's a big one, right? So it doesn't surprise me that if we have some major like Mag 7 earnings, that indexes would be hedged. Does SPY show this? SPY shows it on Friday. QQQ. QQQ doesn't show it at all. I think SMH are showing it, right? Yeah, SMH showing it as well. I would assume that that might have to do with something on the earnings side. Do we have anything? Wait, I haven't even checked red folder news. 1 second. Holy. How do you get out of this? Oh, we have FOMC as well. This is what, the first or the second FOMC with the new guy? So FOMC, GDP. Okay, so it makes sense. We have a lot of stuff hedged Wednesday and into Friday. There's big news coming out this week. 7425 tapped. It's like it's trying to hold there as a ceiling. SPY ceiling's a little higher, 741, 742. You'd be wanting to wait for that stack. So let's see. Is there FOMC2? Yeah, yeah, we just went through. I mean, but even with that bias going into FOMC, that can help if you're using it to say like, okay, maybe I want to hold my downside plays a little longer than my upside plays, right? While you're day trading. So it can still be a nice value add. Yeah, issues 7425. The 7425 rejection is opposing like the 681 floor, so I don't know if I like anything right now. Also, I mean, obviously there's a massive move down. There was a really nice bounce as well. Again, it's probably a couple points down to actually have caught it. But we've already had two major moves. It's 11:10. So this is what I tell a lot of people: like, you trade the first couple hours, you're usually going to see at least one or two moves, right? But that also means once you see one or two moves that have already happened, that's your clue of like, okay, there's only so much that can happen in the morning, right? So this is also a clue to just stop trading or like go recap or I don't know, go eat lunch, right? If you already see those two moves have happened, there's a higher likelihood that it'll chill out for a little period of time. So that also helps to reduce FOMO, right? Like if you start viewing days as like, okay, you know, we're only going to have so many moves before the like, you know, it's exhausted. That helps you also to control FOMO or just step away once you already say like, all right, look, we've already had these major moves, whether you missed the fill, whether you caught it, whatever. If you notice that, then that's a good hint to wait, maybe come back, like let's say at 2 p.m. or after lunch, right? Also, actually, 7425 did hold. All right, let's see how big this move can be. I mean, yeah, we have the rug pull on QQQ, but we have a lot of floors on SPY. So 739 is a little weaker, but 738 for sure has good size. Yeah, SPX is a reverse rug pull, but again, reverse rug pulls and rug pulls, if you don't clear the positive node, they don't over bias on that, right? So like this reverse rug pull on SPX, if we don't clear 7425, it could still just reject the positive node, right? Same thing with this rug pull on QQQ. It's a rug pull, but if we hold the 681, we may just bounce off of that. So when we come in from the like rug pulls and reverse rug pulls, when you come in from the negative side, are best. Like those are the easiest time to play it. When you come in from the positive side, it is a little trickier because if you hold the positive node, that can just end up reversing price. But if you sort of break and retest and then the negative node will take more hold and play out the full reverse rug pull or rug pull that that we're used to playing. Let's see here. All right. Uh, so I'm expecting stuff to slow down a bit, but we'll see. We already had a lot of movement here the day. So now we're getting a lot less alignment in my view. So let's well, we can wait and see. But if in the meantime, I guess if there's any like questions or other things we can go through, we can just go ahead and start doing that. Unless we see something big pop up. I give a second. I need to send a quick message. All right. Is it every day? So recently, yes, I've been trying. Well, I did Wednesday, Friday last week. This one I'll do every day this week, but next week I'll be completely out because of boot camp, like I said earlier. Monday, I can potentially do Monday afternoon, but my flight is Monday like midday or morning or something. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, this is not gonna happen. So John, Jewel, myself, Garma, I think we're all out of commission. So it'll be very light on the stages next week. I'll look into Friday. I can probably do something. Maybe. I don't want to commit because it depends what ends up happening in that boot camp. After that, yeah, but I should be doing this more consistently. So I'm gonna be like very wonky on time schedules on like hour change actually for like all of August. But I believe I should be able to match it and do it. I think every day except for August 10 and 14. And I think the last week of August is also going to be light because we have a separate event. But John will be streaming very heavy that last week of August. So again, we're going to send the like Joe sent the calendar yesterday. We're going to work to do that every week or every day. So either the night before or on Sunday nights, we're going to send a schedule of the 3 Success team stream schedules at least. So I know there's oracles. I know sometimes Glitch will hop on randomly, but those are a little bit harder to anticipate. So at least for the 3 of us, we're going to work to give y'all a schedule ahead of time so you guys can be aware, but then also like tune into who you want to, right? Like Jewel does a lot more individual tickers than John does, right? So and like I do my sessions a bit more heavy Q&A. So everyone can tune into what they need. Going somewhere good. Well, I mean the boot camp New York, so that will be fun. And then my cousin's getting married in Germany, so I'll be in Germany for a couple weeks. Will boot camp Zoom have video? Like screen share, yeah. Oh, it also have video of like the room, yeah. All right, so yeah, it looks like 7425 did hold. We're going downwards now. I wonder if we managed to get the same reversals before, but we'll see. The 738, 737, this has definitely gotten stronger on SPY, these levels. Sui, what was my thesis of reversal when? Sui, I don't know which. point you're talking about? Like what time? You're in JPM. Okay, sorry. JPM puts. JPM puts for this week at 345. Full on loss now. Any thoughts if we go towards the dark pool? I don't even have the dark pool. Were you playing the 350 ceiling? What was the JPM? See you, Crow. Yeah, have a good one. Who asked this? Maydi. You entered last week, maybe with the 350 ceiling being your thesis? Well, not even last week, I guess before. Or what was your thesis on JPM? So you entered Thursday? Or you entered after we broke above it? 1042 reversal. Yeah, so 1042 reversal would have been the king node at 7385. We bounced early, but that would have been your floor. You have the double positive stack on SPY. And QQQ was slipping like 677, 675. So again, it was earlier than I thought. I wanted us to get closer to 675 and to fully tap 7385. But that was the rough thesis there, and it ended up bouncing early. Jewel call. I don't know when Jewel alerted it, but if you're playing it before Friday, 349 has already been tapped a lot, right? So like this is ballpark 350, right? Like these are zones. So there's a chance we break through as we test it over and over and over. And then I think once Friday broke above, I would have just cut it here. Like once Friday's already a full node past 350. Tesla. You're looking today at 2:30 on the nodes from tomorrow. What's weird to me, there's a lot of I mean, yeah, you can still swing Tesla based off these nodes. And if you look at the VEX and you see that, the next few days are pushing in the direction you want, as well as on GEX, sometimes it'll show up. You can do so. I haven't personally, like usually if I've done any of these 3 times a week expirations, I've just day traded them. I haven't actually swung the Max 7 ever since they made that change, I'll admit. Yeah, maybe it went through the ceiling. So once it pushed like a full $2-3 above on JPM, then to me, this is, risk we flip to a floor, and you probably shouldn't have been holding over the weekend, in my opinion. Bootcamp online, I don't know. I asked Glitch, both of you DM me. I asked him and I think he didn't answer or I forgot. So I'll have to ask him again. I mean, maybe there's always a chance it comes back, but markets hold off this hard. JPM's still sitting up here. I'm not believing in that too much. I mean, that's up to you. If you sized it for 0, then just hold it. But yeah, I'm just giving my read of what happened on the original 350 ceiling, right? And also, like, you have to take into account, I don't know what the expiration is, but if you have 345 puts, like, theta is also just going to start killing these things. Because now, even if we hit 350, you have 345 puts, depending how red you are, even if we hit 350 and it bounces there, then it's not really getting rescued, right? How confident are the nodes? I mean, the nodes are what they are, right? Like, this is just the data it is. You can trade off of them, just always be aware they can reshuffle as the days goes on, right? So like you could take your thesis based on what the nodes say now. Just be aware you need to be checking them as the day develops, as the next day comes around, because things can obviously change. So it's not that I'm confident or not, it's just that like the map is what the map is, right? No, I will say some tickers are more dependable than others. I will say that. Like, I don't know, a lot of people don't like trading like Chewy, or I don't know. GameStop always has these random, I don't know if it still does, but in the past it always had these random $25 nodes that just like never ended up happening. So like with time, you start to learn which tickers are a bit more respecting of it or not. Yeah, like GameStop sees still nothing, right? So yeah, I think that's, pay attention to some of the like higher volume more mid cap, mega cap, those will be a bit more in line with the tickers. Because I see sometimes the nodes at 330 are different than 230. I mean, yeah, that's expected. User 3EX, right? The maps from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. never look the same. From 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Sometimes they look similar, but most days they're gonna have heavy reshuffling, right? That's how these maps have to work, right? They have to be something that's live and evolving. Right. Yeah. Even for today's expiration, the next expiration as well, right? They're all reshuffling constantly. So the whole point I'm making is like you're looking at a snapshot in time. So yes, you can have your thesis based on that. Just be aware that things can flip, right? So I might not be understanding the question correctly, but oh, maybe you're in Berlin. No, Berlin, I won't be able to go this time. I've never been. Someday I'll go. But this trip is mostly the Southwest, like Konstanz, Stuttgart, Frankfurt, those areas. How close should I trade to the end of day? User 3x, I think you're looking for something that's a bit impossible, right? It's not like by trading a certain time of day or day of the week, the maps are not going to reshuffle. Like the maps will always reshuffle by close or by open the next day, right? So it's, a lot of this is very dependent on does the market gap up or down overnight. So it's a bit of an impossible request, right? Because they're not meant to be static. They are live maps, right? So, dealer hedging is always changing. It's not something that we can, at least that I've noticed. There's not like, oh, if you pick this time, it's less likely to change or not, right? There's just always a chance it will change, right? Which is what we need, right? We don't need these maps to be flatlined, right? We need them to adjust live so we can see, is our thesis being invalidated? Is it being strengthened, etc.? I don't know if I might be misunderstanding the question, I'll be honest. Option market is closing, but that doesn't mean tickers don't move, right? Like things will gap up and down overnight. And even though option market closes, so in theory, as we get closer to 4 p.m., our pin levels are more exact, you can still get very crazy moves, obviously, in MOC and stuff. So it's not really like a time where you just know where it's going to finish or with a certainty what's going to happen. Nico, how's it going? But yeah, user 3x, I might be misunderstanding what you're asking, I'll be honest. I'm not sure. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, either send it here or send it to me on DM. You can send it here, honestly. We have time. Let's see, if we push any deeper now, again, we're hitting this double positive stack SPY. It would be nice if maybe that 7400 grew a bit more on SPX, but if not, you want to be looking for way lower, maybe double bottom on the day and then a bounce there. All right, new question. So this will be divergence. So there's two kinds of divergences. There's chart divergence and there's heat map divergence, right? So like if we look at ESNQ, a good example of like big chart divergence is you'll see, okay, ES, if we compare it to this low from July 23rd, we have still not swept it, right? We are still above it. Whereas we look at that same level, July 23rd, NQ, we are 500 points below it, right? So obviously this is due to QQQ being more tech heavy, but this is like a huge chart divergence, right? One has swept this low long ago, one is still not swept it. So that's one kind of divergence, like chart wise, which is very important to notice. And then the other one is heat map wise, right? Like let's say SPY is sort of, kind of just like in this mid range. SPX has king node downside, QQQ has king node upside. So the way I view this, like, okay, SPY has a floor here, QQQ ceiling up here. So yeah, there's a bit of divergence in where the ceilings and floors are located. So there's two kinds of divergence, right? And they're both important to us. It's just you need to be aware which one's chart wise and which one's heat map wise, and they both can be very influential. So they're both things that we want to pay attention to, right? Hopefully that answers that. As David's. Do I have a preference between SPX, SPY, QQQ? No, like, I mean, to me, I don't actually have a real reason. I just trade whichever one I feel like. If there's big divergences on the chart, sometimes, like, let's say today, QQQ is a little weaker, so you probably want to take puts if you're looking for downside, right? So sometimes you can tell, but if you can't tell, it's usually fine on either one. Now there's some other considerations. So like, let's say if you're a very large portfolio, well, one, if you're learning, you should only be doing SPY QQQ. There's no point doing SPX if you know that you don't have good metrics, like your good win rate yet, etc. So if you're just not starting out, just do SPY QQQ. Long term, once you're more consistent, more comfortable, then there's like a tax consideration. Like SPX, you can save a bit on taxes. So that's why Glitch does SPX. There's also are you going to hold plays for mock consideration? Because, like, for example, Robinhood, SPY, QQQ, they close you at 345. So, if you're going to do a very late day play that you want to hold into close, you have to use SPX, right? Or XSP. So there's a lot of factors that go into it, but in terms of like chart wise, unless there's a big divergence, I'll trade either one and I'll be fine with it, right? Like a move like this that we just had, let's say the 1041, you're catching 50% on either one. It doesn't matter, right? Why SPY and QQQ when you start? Because it's cheaper. If you cannot consistently pull 60 to 70% win rate, there's no point in trading SPX and losing $300 a trade when you could lose $50 a trade, $80 a trade using SPY or QQQ, right? Like, I think one of the biggest things is trading is like, you have to assume you're gonna lose while you're learning, right? Otherwise, I don't know, it's just big ego or you're just not being realistic, right? So the two ways to do it is either you size very, very small or you just paper trade, right? But whichever way you choose, there's no point to do SPX. And yeah, as Alon says, even once you are comfortable, is it better to trade one SPX contract or two SPX contracts or 7 SPY contracts? SPY is the answer there, right? Because yes, you pay a little bit more in commissions, whatever. It depends on your brokerage. You might not even have commissions. But this allows you to scale out properly. If you have one SPX contract, you hit 30%, but you think the move is going to keep going, then your brain starts going, oh, let's get greedy, let's not sell here, whatever. You have 7 SPY contracts, you're going to trim at 30%. It's a lot easier to keep the discipline and follow your rules because you have extra contracts left over. You'll sell 4, leave 3 runners, and you can have these runners go further and further. Whereas if you're on SPX, you can't trim at 30%, have a runner if you only have 2 contracts. Well, you can leave 1 runner, but then you trim that one at 50 and now you're out, right? So any big move, like let's say you took this downside move, right? The 744 one. You take an entry here with 2 SPX contracts, you're probably done with both by like 742. You take 7 SPY contracts, you can probably leave a runner to way lower. So hopefully that makes sense of why like I'm pretty big on people not trading SPX actually. Okay, I think I missed something. Oh, SMH. Sorry, Z Trader. Oh yeah, SMH looks like, yeah, we got all the way down to 535 today. Holy crap. So we have this level here. Actually, we got a big bounce off of it already. We got 10-point bounce. Now we're revisiting it though. So on the micro, this is still a double bottom. I mean, the heat map is showing us nothing, I'll be honest. But let's see. I think this combined with the like indexes, we have a good amount of support. We can potentially hold here and get another bounce upwards. Okay, Forbes took 739. Forbes, it looks like you took a smaller scalp, right, on one of these retracements, is what I'm understanding there. Yeah, so Alon actually, I spoke with him a bit of time ago, and like he swapped over to SPY QQQ, and it's helped him quite a bit, right? So again, this is not a forever thing, right? Like eventually you'll be able to compound, scale up, and you can take multiple SPX contracts. But until you can do so, there's no point flipping to SPX early if you know it's gonna limit your, it's gonna shoot yourself in the foot in terms of taking trims and leaving runners, etc. Right? That's where you end up losing out big time. So hopefully that makes sense, like why I think of it in that fashion. The last one right before 11 a.m. Okay, so one of these candles, I assume. All right, so again, we're pushing our SPY floor is higher than our SPX one. Our SPX one obviously is down here on the double bottom. So SPY potentially maybe will bounce off a fib. And then looks like QQQ is helping a little bit more this time. 677 is slipped back in. It's a little bit soft right now, but it's definitely slipped in. Let's see if we can get some of these. Again, this is an air pocket before it's a negative nodes, like a negative air pocket, I guess. And see if that can help us out to get a push out. If we hold this 737 especially. Would I recommend XSP? Yeah, XSP is the same as SPY. XSP though, you can hold into close, like it's cash settled, so. But it's the same thing as SPY. The fills are a little weirder, like the bid-ask spread is usually like $4 or $5, but it's not terrible, right? Like if you're still lowball, like limit ordering, that's not going to impact you very much. So XSP or SPY, either one works. All right. All right. You don't have Atlas and have this at a high level of support. Is there a dark pool at 737? Yeah, there's still that dark pool there from Friday. So we're tapping that dark pool, 737 floor. So let's see. SPX and QQQ floors are a little bit lower, I'll say again. So SPY is sort of like the early aggressive entry. All right. Oh, yeah, thanks, Virgin, for putting that in there. All right, seems we are hunting a little bit lower through. So again, gamble here is if you think it'll bounce earlier, you're playing more the SPY floor. If you think you want to be safer, you're waiting for 7385 or at least the double bottom on SPX to occur. We also have the 677 on QQQ. So we'll see. if we clear out low day and then bounce or not. A lot of moves happen overnight. And next expiry swings are interesting. Yeah, so I mean, like, there's a lot of significant moves. The only thing there is uh, you also cannot sell out, right? Sometimes the moves happen and you're not actually able to exit, or well, it depends. If you're doing futures for indexes, you can, but if it's individual ticker wise, you're meaning, yeah. But that's always been the risk of swings, right? It's like sometimes you miss the move because you can't play it overnight, but sometimes the move goes against you and you can't actually exit, right? So it's a risk either side. Like Amazon did today. You're saying on the gap up? Yeah, Amazon gapped up. I mean, the same as like SoFi. SoFi gapped up from Friday to here, full dollar. Retraced a lot of it, but yeah, let's see here. ES is sweeping out this level. Yeah, a lot of downside growth, but we're coming in on this big floor here. Let's see if SPY holds the 737. So you're counting SPX SPY floors to hold, 677 small floor as well, QQQ. So that's the thesis here. Looks like we're getting a decent reaction. I'm tracking, like looking at futures and charts side by side. So sometimes my scale of reference is a little bit different. All right, definitely getting a reaction here. Let's see. Okay, a low double bottom. Yeah, okay, a low. We're towards the bottom of the range on this 40. Safest entry probably off this 39.5 sweep. But yeah, based on today, we have a bit of a double bottom there. Okay, low. All right, yeah, we're getting a reaction here. I think Alon already. I don't know, Alon catches everything. I don't know how. QQQ beach ball? No, QQQ is just a bounce off 677. I mean, go look at this, right? We bounced right off 677. I think the beach ball, I don't think it's being used correctly by everyone. I need to chat with John about this. We need to release something about that. But yeah, Alon, that's fine. Actually, I think it just reversed against you. So I think you actually just saved yourself. So again, like when y'all are talking about beach balls, like yes, that's a thing, but always remember like the volume goes first, right? So when we're pushing into these levels, and they were a bit weaker earlier, right? But these are nodes that were not even showing up, right? So to me, the trade here is we're bouncing off 677, not that we're doing the beach ball. So yes, negative nodes can help fuel the move, right? But it's still, what are we actually bouncing off of is 677 and these like SPY SPX levels. So again, it looks like, I don't know if this move will continue or not, but let me see. Like futures wise, it did pop like a good 50 points. So the move was there. It's just these things are really quick. So like on option side, if you're not using a brokerage where you can either have the sell limit in place when you enter a trade or like quickly set it afterwards, some of these moves are very rapid. So you do need to be, you can lose even with the right thesis if you're not executing quick enough after. But yeah, the move is continuing up now. All right, so there's a reaction there. Yeah, Lon, they put in that one candle, I think, to scare people off. They started pushing it right after. All right, so yeah, that would have been same bounce that happened earlier. This one cut a little bit lower, so gave us a better chance to enter. So yeah, hopefully some people played the double bottom. Okay, a Lowe's catching a bit of a reaction for whoever said that they were trying that one. And I know relative to the moves that have happened today, obviously this looks like a small bounce. This is still $1, right? $1.50 on QQQ. So like this is still more than enough to catch probably 20, 30, maybe even 40%, depending on entry. All right, we're getting closer to lunch. Suppose we've been quite a few things that have happened. Wait, sorry, let me send a message into it seems they're in staging. There's going to be a pretty good feature that's coming out that once it comes out, I'll make a video about. All right. Any questions? I don't think I'll stay on too much longer. I might go get lunch and come back around 1, maybe a little earlier. Any questions on like I guess this reaction here? I guess for me, the trades that I thought were the cleanest were probably the 744, 689 early morning. Sad part is I did not hold runners. And then this recent move I think was pretty clean. The first one bounced a little early, so I know a lot of people, like I missed Phil, probably a lot of people as well. But this recent one did give us a better entry. And I guess also this 742 ceiling roll down. I don't like playing those too much, just because like we've already had quite a bit of a move. But that was also a pretty clean one. I wonder, maybe someone in John's stream caught that one. Okay, so yeah, a few of y'all looks like, yeah, again, there's been a lot of downside pressure on the day, right? So that already for us is like, okay, maybe a clue of just to take more scalps. But hopefully what I'm looking for on the reaction there, and like how I'm building the confluence across the different heat maps is what is more clear. Yeah, like the SPY, we used to have a lot more volume up here. I mean, the day has just been very bearish. So again, gives us a bit of a clue, maybe we just want to scalp through. All right, any questions? I'll probably hop off soon. Let me see. At this point, I mean, like large downside, I doubt that there's much more just because of how much you sold off. There's a lot of positive volume now stepping in on all three indexes. So even if we do go down, I don't think it'll be anything like major. Yeah, so that's probably my opinion here. Give me a second here, y'all. I'm trying to do something real quick. So, all right. Yeah, any questions before I hop off? Would it be around this point in the day where you say a lot of the better moves have already played? Yeah, I mean, we've had is what $10 down, then we bounced up really hard. This double bottom being so weak is also just a little bit odd. So at this point, we've had probably 2 or 3 good moments. Lunches in 10 minutes. Yeah, I would say it's not that these are the only moves that are going to happen on the day, but typically the next big moves will be more towards 2 p.m., let's say. I usually like to come back once the next 4-hour candle is around. Yeah, the big Vex node can end Wojak, but I mean, we've already gone down $90 on SPX, right? So even if 7300 is going to keep pulling, there's still 2 days until that node hits, right? So I think, yeah, almost $100 in 1 day it's already done quite a bit of work. I mean, I guess like it already caused acceleration down today is my point. So if we get a lot of, even though that node is still there, if we get a lot of short-term GEX that is in the way, it can prevent that from, I mean, max downside, at least based on SPX, looks like maybe 7350, 734 on SPY. So it's possible we keep reshuffling, rolling lower, but it looks like they're putting in a lot of positive volume here that'll slow price down, chop it around a little bit more, lunchtime coming up. So that's, we'll see how it reshuffles, but that's my opinion based on what we're seeing right now, Wojak. Yeah, thanks, Nico. Hope y'all have a good lunch. Yeah, any other questions? Otherwise, I think I'll end this one here. I'll be back 1 p.m. I'll see how many people are around in the afternoon. I'll either merge with Jules or I'll keep a separate stream and just have mine be, again, more like office hours kind of vibe. Just let me see what the attendance is like, and then see how busy Jules is. But I don't want to, Jules has a good flow on his stuff, so I don't want to step on toes. So we might just be doing a bit more separate streams. All right, yeah, thanks everyone. And again, whether it's this afternoon or tomorrow morning, I'll be doing these every day this week, except Thursday morning I can't. All right, everyone, enjoy your lunch, and see y'all in a bit if y'all are free later. All right, bye all.